What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. There is a particular mistake that I see the vast majority of therapists make when it comes to marketing their practice, and that is a lack of authenticity. Now, I'm quite sure I've made iterations of this video before, whether I labeled it, self-doubt or imposter syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It seems worth reiterating again in this video because it's so pervasive that I think it just can't be overstated. And also, I'm going to provide a different perspective in this video than I think I've talked about before, as far as how to overcome this marketing issue. So stay tuned for that. Oh, and before we get any further into this, let me just remind you that everything I say is my opinion, as is true about everything on this channel. So let's connect the dots. How does being inauthentic in our marketing channels negatively impact our bottom line as a therapist? The way I see it, if we have any amount of self-doubt regarding how much our authentic self can genuinely help the folks that we serve, then we're likely going to show up with some kind of a mask on whenever we present ourselves in our marketing materials. And this is relevant no matter where or how you choose to market your practice. Things like choosing a specialty, to how you show up online, to how you network yourself with other therapists, to even things like how you dress and what your appearance looks like. So whatever you want to call this thing, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, being inauthentic, this is just a natural part of being human. We all go through it, especially when we're trying to put ourselves out there and say hey, you probably want to hire me for something. But if we can move through that self-doubt and present who we really are in our marketing materials, then not only will that allow folks to really see who we are and feel drawn to us, but it's also already an avenue for folks to see us model what it is that we're hoping to help folks do through therapy, to let their authentic, true selves lead their lives. So no need to be hard on yourself if this is you. Most of us have done this before if we're not doing it right now. But in this video, I have a tool to help you overcome this tendency to kind of put a mask on in your marketing materials. And then I give a few examples of how to apply this in your marketing materials. Okay, so I won't lie. The tool that I have to offer to help you overcome being inauthentic in your marketing materials is pretty simple. Let's face it, sometimes the solution is simple. It's just difficult to implement. But here's my kind of two-step solution to overcoming being inauthentic in your marketing materials. First, ask yourself, in an ideal situation, how do I want my clients to show up in their lives when they graduate from counseling? And then for each channel that you utilize to market your practice, follow up and ask yourself, am I embodying the outcome that I want for my clients and how I'm showing up here? Now, let me clarify what I mean, because I could see that getting misinterpreted. By embodying the outcome that you want for your clients in your marketing materials, I don't mean to pretend that you feel awesome, regardless of whether you feel awesome or not. At least I'm assuming that for most of us, we're not trying to teach our clients to pretend to be doing better than they actually are. But I would argue that embodying the outcome that we want for our clients does look like acknowledging our humanity, leaning into our growth edges, and allowing our passions and our values to be our top priority. At least those are the things that I want for my clients. Am I right? Now, I think most of us therapists know this already because we've walked with our clients through the same process so many times, but showing up authentically proves to be extremely difficult. When we take off the mask and we show up as our authentic selves, then when the world responds with scrutiny, with judgment, with rejection, we receive that as I am being judged, scrutinized, and rejected. So let's think through some examples of how to show up authentically in different marketing channels. The first channel I want to talk about might not sound like it has anything to do with marketing, but it does, and that's your specialty. More often than not, when I speak to a therapist who tells me, I don't have a specialty, or I don't know what my specialty is yet, as we dig into it in a conversation, we come to find out that they definitely have a desired specialty, but they don't feel like they're the right person to lean into that specialty. When we carry self-doubt, it's really easy to write off a desired specialty. We could say, I'm too young, or, I want to specialize in working with kids, but I can't because I don't have kids of my own. We are so capable of creating a story about why our specialty wouldn't work for us before we ever lean into the specialty and kind of collect data on whether that's actually true. So if you're in this camp of feeling like, whatever my desired specialty is wouldn't work out for whatever reason, maybe imagine being your own therapist. Like if this were your client saying yeah, I can't really specialize in that thing because I'm writing myself off for whatever reason, how would you respond to your client in that moment? I think for most of us, we would have compassion and we would get curious. We might say something like, oh, that's really interesting that you seem to think that it wouldn't work out for you to specialize in that. I wonder why that is. And I imagine for a lot of us, we might eventually encourage our clients to do like a reality check to say, okay, well, is this worth testing out? Do you want to give it a try and see if what you're afraid of is really true? And if you're feeling a total block when it comes to trying to turn that compassion inward, it's a great opportunity to invite a trusted colleague to walk you through the same exercise. Another example of where we can put up a mask in our marketing is through networking. Whether you're networking with other therapists or just professionals in the field in general, I think it's become so common to put up a front of professionalism amongst therapists that it's kind of almost become a default state in some circles. So this feels like a good moment to pause and talk about like, what is professionalism? This is just Marie's opinion and perspective of professionalism. But I used to always see professionalism as like doing the best I could to embody this kind of picture of what a professional therapist looks like in our case, rather than like, how does Marie show up as a therapist? So over time, I've come to redefine professionalism as how to lean into the best version of myself as a professional. When I talk as a therapist, I need to still sound like Marie, even though maybe I'm not using all the same casual language that I might be using, say, at home with my husband or out with my friends. We could say that about a lot of things too. We could say that about how we dress, how we talk about our interests, how we talk about our personal experiences. There's a way to still be yourself and bring the best version of yourself to the work that you're doing without it feeling like the only way to be professional is to sort of mimic this mold of professionalism. So back to how this applies to networking, there will be people who share the value with you of showing up authentically. And when they see that in you, they're going to jive with you. And it will be a lot easier for you to find those like-minded people who you could be friends with, you could be colleagues, you could have a professional relationship with, and yes, who will refer clients to you if you show up authentically. Another example of where we might want to try showing up authentically in our marketing materials is with our online presence. Now, I know for so many of us, again, myself included, I did this for the longest time, we lead with our trainings, with our credentials, making a case for, here's all the ways that I've taken these external variables to equip myself to help you. Do not get me wrong. All of those trainings and credentials are very much valid. We need to have those things, but sometimes that's all we might include or what we lead with. And what can happen inadvertently sometimes when we lead with our credentials and our training is folks can feel kind of almost a sense of disconnect. Like, oh yeah, look how much training Marie has, this and that, and I don't know what I'm doing. Versus if somebody leads with a sense of their humanity, their passions, their values. Why did somebody get interested in this field to begin with? Why is this work exciting? If we start by leading with our humanity, which sometimes looks like some appropriate level of self-disclosure of, why we're excited about doing the kind of work that we do or what is important to us about the work that we do, that's going to really help potential clients connect with us on a human level, not feel otherized. Then yeah, you can talk about your trainings after that so that it can kind of just bolster a sense of trust that you can help them. The last marketing example that I wanted to touch on presenting your authentic self is your initial contact with potential clients. If you're finding for yourself that when you have that initial contact or that initial phone screen with potential clients, that you're feeling defensive or like your walls are up or that you're feeling like you need to kind of prove yourself, those are all really great opportunities to seek some consultation with a very trusted colleague and just say, hey, I'm noticing I have this tendency. Can we talk through this? And again, curiously explore this to see if we can understand what might be happening there. So hopefully these tips kind of have a double whammy effect of, not only will presenting your authentic self help potential clients build trust with you and like actual you, but it will also make your work a lot more enjoyable because if you are putting up a front and putting yourself out there with a mask on, that's just incredibly exhausting. I've tried it. It's not sustainable. Again, in my opinion. Also, a quick announcement for those of you who are watching this in real time around when this video is releasing. Now is a great time to start preparing for our 2023 taxes. I know it might feel a little early, but this is a great time to get things set up. And Herd is hosting a free workshop to my viewers all about preparing for 2023 tax season, and it's coming up on November 28th at 12 o'clock Pacific time. There is a link below to sign up for this webinar. I will be there. I'm excited to learn because I could use some tips myself. And if you're not able to be there live, you can catch the replay as well. So definitely sign up if you're wanting some help with your 2023 taxes. And I'm just going to keep the ball rolling with the announcements. I am definitely launching some type of Black Friday bundle deal of my courses, but I'm still sorting through it. So if you want to make sure you catch the info on that, make sure you're on my email list. I'll link to where you can sign up for my email list below so that you know what the bundle is and you can catch it. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with scheduling, notes, and billing. They have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform and so much more. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you found this video illuminating or encouraging so that you can present your authentic self in your marketing materials. It's only going to help your potential clients, and I would argue it's only going to help you as well. Until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.